Chocolate is a product of the cacao bean, a seed found within the fruit of the cacao tree. Theobroma cacao literally means food of the gods. But when removed from the fruit, the cacao bean is astringent, bitter, and practically aromaless, surprisingly different from the chocolate we know and love. How does cacao become chocolate? The cacao bean contains the embryo of the cacao tree, as well as protein and fat, or cacao butter, to nourish the seedling, as well as bitter defensive compounds that deter animals from eating the seeds. When the cacao fruit is ripe, it is harvested, and the seeds, or beans, and fruit pulp are fermented, then dried, and finally roasted in a process similar to roasting coffee beans. This affects the aroma and flavor of the final chocolate. There are over 600 different kinds of volatile molecules in chocolate, making it one of the most aromatic foods in the world. The inside of the cacao bean, which is the bean minus the shell, is called a kernel or a nib, and it contains all of the cacao butter fat and other cacao molecules. Nibs are essentially raw chocolate. Manufacturers then grind the nibs into very, very small particles, so small that the resulting material, called chocolate liqueur, is basically protein, fiber, starch, sugar, phenolics, and alkaloids suspended in fat. Fat makes up over 50% of chocolate liqueur. Chocolate liqueur has a concentrated chocolate taste, but it is still quite bitter, astringent, and acidic. Unsweetened baking chocolate, or baker's chocolate, is essentially pure chocolate liqueur. It has an intense chocolate flavor, but doesn't taste very pleasing on its own. Same goes for unsweetened cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is made by extracting most of the fat, or the cocoa butter, from the chocolate liqueur. The isolated fat, or cocoa butter, can be added back to the chocolate liqueur to increase the total amount of fat and change the consistency of the final chocolate. The more chocolate liqueur in the final chocolate, the more bitter the chocolate will taste, and the harder the final chocolate solid. Bittersweet and semi-sweet chocolates are also used in baking, but they can also be eaten alone, especially if you prefer a darker chocolate. Bittersweet and semi-sweet chocolate are both made of chocolate liqueur to which additional cocoa butter, up to 15%, and sugar, 30 to 50%, have been added. The most bitter and brittle dark chocolate bars can contain up to 80% chocolate liqueur. On the other hand, the sweetest dark chocolate has only 30% chocolate liqueur. All that added sugar breaks up the crystallized fat molecules and makes the chocolate softer. Milk chocolate is a sweeter, creamier, lighter colored chocolate with hints of caramel and butterscotch flavors. It only contains 10% chocolate liqueur with added sugar, fat, and protein from milk. The smaller percentage of chocolate liqueur and the added sugar and fat makes milk chocolate even softer.